him. He just ended his campaign on NewsMax. I'm going to start with that, and there's a whole bunch more to cover. I mean, I am in shock at how much news we have to cover on the program today. It's one of the biggest news days in a while, and it's right before Christmas.
Since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
All right, welcome everyone. My name is Brian. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years, soon to be 47 years in just a few days on the radio. Okay, huge news, which we have a lot to cover today. So if I start talking fast like Ben Shapiro, bear with me, and I'll give my apologies in advance for that. But Ron DeSantis has ended his presidential campaign on an interview yesterday with NewsMax, and this is devastating. I'm going to share this audio with you in just a moment, but presidential campaigns, they come and go, but there's sometimes when people that are running for president will have one moment that finishes them forever. And this is Ron DeSantis' moment. I've been saying all year long, he is unelectable forever. And Ron DeSantis' reaction after this Colorado primary ballot ruling from their corrupt court against President Trump did Ron DeSantis in. And it was with a simple statement that he made on NewsMax. And now I'm going to play this. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'll just give you a little setup. Now you may remember Vivek Ramaswamy, who I've got problems with, but Ramaswamy came out almost immediately and said that he was going to withdraw his name from the Colorado primary if Trump's not on the ballot. So, and that seems like a pretty easy thing to do. Well, not if you're Ron DeSantis. So Ron DeSantis is being interviewed on NewsMax by an anchor I've never seen before. Yeah, it's holiday time, so a lot of people are on vacation. There's a lot of fill-in people, but she got a major scoop. I want to play for you right now. This is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis ending his presidential campaign live on NewsMax. Listen.
Fellow GOP 2024 presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy saying he will remove himself from the Colorado ballot unless Trump's eligibility is restored. Would you do the same?
No, I think that's just playing into the left. I think the case will get overturned by the Supreme Court. But I've qualified for all the ballots. I'm competing in all the states, and I'm going to accumulate the delegates necessary. That's the whole name of the game in this situation. But I do anticipate that decision was political and will get reversed.
Did you hear that in the beginning? Let me play the beginning part again.
And real quick, fellow GOP 2024 presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy saying he will remove himself from the Colorado ballot unless Trump's eligibility is restored. Would you do the same?
No, I think...
No! And if anyone feels that Ron DeSantis is ever worthy of writing about in a book, that moment, that no, will be the official end of his presidential campaign as well as his public political life. And not only does he say no, Ron DeSanctimonious, he goes on to talk about how, well, I'm out there collecting delegates, and what he's implying is this will make it easier for him to collect delegates. That's our governor, my governor, Ron DeSantis. What a piece of work. This guy sold us such a line of BS that we believe. This guy has lied to the people of Florida in 2 elections. He's lied to President Trump, and in this brief moment of honesty, he has ended his campaign. I'll play it one more time, then we'll talk.
And real quick, fellow GOP 2024 presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy saying he will remove himself from the Colorado ballot unless Trump's eligibility is restored. Would you do the same?
No, I think that's just playing into the left. I think the case will get overturned by the Supreme Court. But I've qualified for all the ballots. I'm competing in all the states, and I'm going to accumulate the delegates necessary. That's the whole name of the game in this situation. But I do anticipate that decision was political and will get reversed.
So if it's going to get reversed, Ron DeSanctimonious, earning the name, why not just say, well, yeah, I won't be on the ballot either, just like Ramaswamy if Trump's not on it. If it's going to be tossed out, why doesn't he do that? You know, I've seen people that I've known in my personal life and professional life who have been self-destructive people. Have you ever known self-destructive people? Oh, man. I've seen it happen many times. You see it with celebrities a lot, but in your private life, you ever work with someone that's self-destructive? Ron DeSantis is the most self-destructive individual, and I'm worried about Ron DeSantis because now that he has dropped out of the campaign, and I would consider that dropping out of the campaign, wouldn't you? This is insanity. He's going to come back to Florida and be our governor for over 2 more years. I don't believe that DeSantis is lucid. And when he's insane. I mean, even John Bolton, with that ridiculous 1800s mustache he's got going on, even John Bolton and Chris Christie, who hate Trump like the plague, are on Trump's side on this. But not Ron DeSantis. Not Ron DeSantis. And that tells me that he is not psychologically fit. And those of you around the country, he's not your governor. He's still our governor here in Florida. When he realizes, because see, for him to say that, that means he's not in touch with reality. But when you've got Chris Christie and John Bolton attacking the decision, and then you've got DeSantis high-fiving over it, which I told you he was doing yesterday. He was counting more delegates, he figured. He could get some more delegates for the convention. Is he mentally fit to be our governor at this point? He is so lucky that we don't have a recall system in Florida. They have recalls in these other states around the country. If we had a recall system in Florida, he'd be out as governor. Out. He would not win a recall, but we don't have recalls in Florida. We do have term limits. This is his last term, but there's over 2 years of it left. Really, like 3. He's not even quite into the first year of his second term. Now, the Trump campaign says that they're going to have the nomination firmed up by March. How long will DeSantis stay in this? At what point will he give it up? I don't know how he's affording to do it because the donors have abandoned him. So I don't know what's holding this campaign of his together. But does he sound like a guy, Ron DeSantis, that's into personal responsibility and says to himself, I messed up? No. And he hasn't been in Florida doing events in a long time. He's in Iowa, he's in New Hampshire and all this stuff. He's going to find Florida's a little different. You know, before he came out and betrayed Trump, before he came out as fake MAGA, he talked the talk. He even had a campaign commercial with his baby wearing MAGA gear. And he was reading The Art of the Deal to his baby. Remember that? And he kept that going until after he was reelected to his second term. And then he came out of the closet as this. And before that, when he was passing himself off as MAGA, and he did a pretty good job of it. He fooled President Trump. He fooled the people of Florida. When he gave a speech or walked into a room, everyone applauded. Everyone was excited in Florida. He was a superstar, second only to President Trump himself. And I saw this. When we had him at Wings Plus a little over a year ago. When he was there, my goodness, everyone, including me, we were going nuts. We didn't know he was fake MAGA yet. He had not yet come out of the closet with the betrayal. He's going to find when he walks into restaurants and goes out in public in Florida, when he's done with this, the standing ovations are over. It's going to be boos and profanities. And if he is so out of touch with reality that he did on NewsMax yesterday what I consider to be the equivalent of dropping out of the race and ending his campaign with that statement, he's not lucid. He's not in touch with reality. He still thinks he's loved. So when he comes back to Florida and finds that wherever he goes, he's booed. Like, I remember when the Buc-ee's opened up there in the Daytona area, the first Buc-ee's. And he went up there. People are all excited. Governor DeSantis is here. It was like that everywhere. Now if he went to Buc-ee's, it would be boos and hisses and yelling. Traitor. I'm not sure he realizes how much he's hated in Florida. So what does he do when he gets back? When he comes back to Florida, how does Ron DeSantis react? Our number's toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE 1, 888-465-2631. It is a toll-free call. If you're wondering what Buc-ee's is a gas station / Walmart all into one. And people get all excited over Buc-ee's. Okay? I don't know why. People get all excited. But hey, I drove 400 miles to go have a White Castle hamburger when I can buy them frozen at Publix, okay? And when they opened that White Castle in Orlando, I went up and back in the day just to have White Castle at a restaurant, a White Castle restaurant. So what do I know? All right, 1-888-GO-CANE1 is our number. If you are on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. We'll be back. Well, hold on a second. We'll be back when I get the right mouse to hit the button. Here we go. We'll be back right after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call The Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-CANE1.
That was, out of every presidential campaign I have followed over my life, that was the most self-destructive moment I've ever seen of a presidential candidate. I mean, would you agree with that? Yes or no? Was that the end of his campaign officially right there? Yeah, I'll tell you this about the White Castles. Because, you know, being from Columbus, Ohio, White Castle is a big deal. And a couple weeks ago, I got the White Castles at Publix, the microwave ones. They taste the same. They taste exactly the same at the White Castles in person as they do in the microwave. No difference. Oh yeah, that was it. Now guys, I put my Rumble link pinned to the top of the chat. If you click that link, you go to my Rumble. I know a lot of you did yesterday. If you've not already done it, please follow me on Rumble. And I would appreciate that. Oh yeah, that was the that was it for DeSantis. He's done. He is done. All right, hold on. Oh, man. Ron DeSantis blew it. Oh, I got something good too after the bottom of the hour break. If you're on hold, hang in there. Today it's not too cold. It was like 69 degrees when I left the house today. This is my Christmas Hawaiian shirt.
In the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
And real quick, fellow GOP 2024 presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy saying he will remove himself from the Colorado ballot unless Trump's eligibility is restored. Would you do the same?
No, I think that's just playing into the left. I think the case will get overturned by the Supreme Court. But I've qualified for all the ballots. I'm competing in all the states, and I'm going to accumulate the delegates necessary. That's the whole name of the game.
Wow. There you have it. Ron DeSantis ending his political career officially with that one stupid but honest comment. Now, if he would just tell the truth about the high heels. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, there were several red flags as to when his campaign starts to end. When you start to bleed the donors, that's a red flag. When you start to cut back on his staff, that's another red flag. This, what you just played, is another red flag that his campaign is. I think what he's going to do is he's going to stick it out until after, because he's been spending time in Iowa, right? We've all speculated that he probably has a house in Iowa, right?
Yeah.
He's been spending time in Iowa. He's hoping he can win Iowa, right? But after Trump laps the field in Iowa, to use a NASCAR term, that's when you're going to hear the announcement, I'm going to go back to Florida and govern.
Yeah, I thought he was going to use, like, we had a hurricane in some part of Florida, not my part, but I thought he would use the hurricane in the campaign. But this one, I mean, this was that was pretty brutal. All right, Mike, take care. Thanks for the call. Yeah, Ron DeSantis. Boy, I won't be able to talk about him too much anymore soon. What's he going to do when he's no longer governor? He's going to have a tough time. That's what he's going to do. This is what I predicted is going to happen. I'm going to make this prediction again. I made this prediction many months ago. Ron DeSantis is indeed an attorney who doesn't own a car, which is insane. I don't know another adult man that has a job that does not own a car in Florida, except Ron DeSantis. Okay? I don't. Doesn't own a house either. But he wants to have the entire trust of the number one economy in the world, even though he doesn't own a car, doesn't own a house. Oh, my goodness. Ron DeSantis. He's a lawyer who's never practiced in the private sector that I know of, right? He was the military, then he was in the Congress, now he's where he's at. And the prediction I made with Ron DeSantis, what will Ron DeSantis do when he's no longer governor? Because we have term limits, he couldn't win. If he ran for the House of Representatives in his old district, he would lose. He is the most hated man in Florida. And that's saying a lot, because there's Democrats in Florida. Ron DeSantis is the most hated man in the state of Florida. And this is what I think he will do. At some point, this is going to dawn on him. It may not have yet. That he's unelectable forever, that he's done. And he's no use to even the establishment. He doesn't have really any Washington contacts. They're all dropping him because he's such a loser. This is what I predicted several months ago, and I want to make this prediction again because when this happens, I want you guys to be able to remember that I said this would happen. Just like I told you yesterday, Ron DeSantis was high-fiving the Colorado decision because he saw a way to get some delegates. And then you heard that interview on NewsMax where I played the clip bragging about that, verifying that my prediction was correct with that clip. But this is what I think he will do. He's still governor for 3 more years. So that comes with it a lot of power. I believe he's going to make deals to help Disney. You know, he came down so hard on Disney. He's going to make deals to make corporate life easier for Disney. By the way, he lost to Disney. And that whole Reedy Creek thing, he was destroyed. I don't want to get sidetracked on that. If anybody asks me, I'll get into the details. But he completely lost that. Completely destroyed on that. But DeSantis, this is my prediction. He's going to do things as governor to make life easier for Disney in Florida. And then at some point, when he's out of office, we're going to find Ron DeSantis, maybe Walmart Melania, but probably Ron DeSantis, with a corporate board position or a corporate job with Disney, maybe a board position, okay? And that'll be the payback for giving them some easy breaks in his final year as governor. That's my prediction. They'll put him on the board. They'll have him do some type of family outreach. They'll come up with some fake job he never has to show up to and pay him boatloads of money and give him boatloads of stock. Because that's it. His only other option is to start practicing law in private practice, which he's never done. Not that I know of, and if he's done it, it wasn't for very long. I don't know where he would have had the time. That's my prediction, and that is where we are going. All right, now, one of our listeners actually tweeted this clip I'm going to play for you, and they tagged me when they tweeted it. And it is a clip of the great Rush Limbaugh talking about Trump. And I'm going to play this when we get back from the break. But I want to tell you guys now this. This is amazing. You know, I was up yesterday. Remember I told you I was up since like 10:30, 11:30 at night, the night before? I didn't go home and go to bed. I had a lot of stuff to do. I had to go to Miami yesterday after the show. And, oh, man, driving to Miami at 9 o'clock in the morning is not fun. It is not fun. It is, and I couldn't take the Bright Line because of the timing just didn't work out, so I had to actually physically drive, and it was awful. By the time I got home to go to bed, it was like 7 at night, 6:30, between 6:30 and 7 o'clock last night, and I lay down in bed on my 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0. And I was like, I felt rested as soon as I hit it while I was still awake. It was, I laid down and I said to myself, I was like, wow, this is amazing. All the tiredness, all the stress, everything I'd been suffering from all day just evaporated right there with my mattress topper 2.0. It is 40% off with the promo code Kane and check out Kane. You've got to get one. It comes in every mattress size. It's an upgrade on the original mattress topper because it has the temperature regulating technology. Keeps you cool in the summer, keeps you warm in the winter, and you're sleeping on a cloud. It turns your entire mattress into a MyPillow. So if you think you need a new mattress, get yourself a MyPillow mattress topper. It'll be one of the best things you've ever bought yourself. 40% off at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. You can also order by phone toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane, Kane. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Gregg.
Oh, man. When we get back, I'll get into this thing with Rush. Hey guys, you know, click my Rumble link and follow me there. I know a lot of you have, and I appreciate that. And please tell your friends about my Rumble channel. You may notice a difference in the word choices on the thumbnails if you read them closely. Yeah, we'll get into Rush after the break here. Oh, Disney, they totally beat DeSantis in that whole municipality story. Someone said the Florida economy is doing well. That is not true. They're obviously not a Floridian. Try to buy a house. Try to rent an apartment. Yeah, this is a Christmas shirt I'm wearing. I don't know if you guys can tell. Sometimes I wear it when it's not Christmas because it's not so obvious. Oh, yeah, he did drop us, Ron DeSantis, like a hot potato. No doubt about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, they are. Yep. All right, when we get back, I'm going to get into this clip from Rush Limbaugh, which is amazing. All right, we're coming back after this. All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, Thursday, December 21st already. Oh, man, it's almost Christmas. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. It's a toll-free call. I want to play this just amazing clip from the late, great, legendary Rush Limbaugh. I did not find this on my own. One of our listeners tweeted this, and when they tweeted it, they tagged me, and I listened to it. And I've mentioned this a few times. Rush listened to this program regularly. And Steve and I both know this for very, it's true. We didn't talk about it when Rush was around because, Rush always said he didn't listen to other shows. But he listened to this one. A lot of you may not know, Steve Kane worked with Rush in New York. Steve did Morning Drive on WABC in New York. And at the time, Rush was doing middays. He used to do... Steve was on at WABC in New York from 6 to 10 a.m., and Rush came on at 10 a.m. on ABC. And it was local in New York, and then later, I'm assuming it was noon, but it might have been 11, but then he went national right after that. But the first hour or two of the Rush Limbaugh program at that point was local in New York, and then at noon went syndicated. And Steve and Rush used to do little crossover hours on occasion together in studio at WABC. So Steve was longtime friends with Rush before he was internationally famous, before he got super famous. And he used to listen to us. And I always knew that when we were on the air, so sometimes I get a little self-conscious knowing that Rush Limbaugh's listening. Can you imagine being on the air when and Rush Limbaugh's listening, or Donald Trump? It makes you nervous. It makes me nervous. And I don't get nervous except when you got legendary people out there that you have great respect for, that you want to sound good to. You know what I mean? You don't want Rush or President Trump to tune in and you're like, ugh, what's he doing? You want them to tune in and you're at the top of your game. But anyway, this was a great clip, and this is a clip of Rush Limbaugh towards the end. I don't know how close towards the end, but it was a video, and you can tell he was not looking well, and he was talking about President Trump, MAGA, and the Democrat Never Trumper agenda, the Never Trumper Democrat Uniparty agenda. So let me just play this. It speaks for itself. The late, great Rush Limbaugh, and this is... I think you'll enjoy it. I know I do. This is spot on the money and very timely and relevant to what we're going through right now.
Desperately want it codified that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to death of Trump. Trump, 75 million, 80 million votes. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going anywhere. Even if Trump does, you're not. They can't separate you from Trump. And more importantly, they can't separate you from the ideas. They can't separate you from MAGA. They can't separate you from Make America Great Again, which I think remains one of our big campaign strengths going forward. They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump.
That's right. And they just don't get it. On my podcast last night, which you should be listening to, my podcast is on all podcast platforms. I also upload it to my YouTube channel. But on my podcast last night, I played a clip of an interview that Nikki Haley did with this Christian, I can't remember what organization he was now. I'm just going to play you the beginning of it when he's talking to Nikki Haley, and it applies to what Rush is saying here. Listen to this.
How do you convince folks in MAGA, and let's be honest, there are different strains of MAGA. I like to call it light pink, red, and a little bit dark. How do you go ahead and try to convince at least people that are willing to listen to you that they need to ditch Donald Trump because they're in on Trump and go with you?
Okay. Now, I'm not interested in what she has to say, but what he says here in the beginning, he thinks there's different degrees of MAGA supporters, right?
How do you convince folks in MAGA, and let's be honest, there are different strains of MAGA. I like to call it light pink, red, and a little bit dark.
See, and this clip here of this is a Christian interviewer. I forget what organization he's with. It doesn't matter, but he's a conservative, right? He's one of these establishment guys, one of these uniparty Republican establishment guys with this warmonger Nikki Haley. And this is such an important little piece here. You know, how I was talking about in the first segment, how Ron DeSantis is so out of touch with reality. Well, so's the Never Trumper Uniparty. There are not different strains of MAGA. The way MAGA is, you're either MAGA or you're not. There's not different shades of red in MAGA, light pink and purple. I don't know what he was saying. But what that guy is saying lets us know what the Uniparty, Republican establishment, Weekly Standard, Paul Ryan, Karl Rove, Bush wing, and the Democrats, how they view us. And this interview was just a couple days ago. So they still think, and this is what DeSantis and Nikki Haley and all these snakes, this is what they're operating on. They believe that there are a lot of MAGA people that aren't really that high on Trump, that are looking for an out with another candidate. That's not the way it works. You know, in presidential primaries of the past, there were lots of candidates. When George W. Bush ran the first time, my goodness, I remember the Iowa primary, there must have been 10 or 15 candidates. You know, and it was like that a lot. And Trump had that many when he started. But before Trump, because this didn't apply to all, Trump was always number one. There was no question. But in the past primaries, when we didn't have the president, right? Like we didn't have the president when Governor Bush was running for president in 99 and 2000. And what would happen is Republican voters would handle it like college sports. They'd each had their own candidate like they had their own team. Team Bush, team whoever else was running. Do you understand what I mean? It was always like that. And then after the primaries, everybody would come together. And the Republican establishment still think it's that way. And it's not. And what Rush said there at the end will still be here even when Trump's not. The MAGA movement will be here for 150 years if it takes to switch the Republican Party completely to MAGA. Don't you get it? That's it. You know, they may have right now, the Republican Never Trumper establishment are the majority when it comes to who is running the Republican Party because they're so entrenched. But when it comes to the Republican voter base, we're the majority, MAGA. And we're going through a transition. That's why we got rid of Kevin McCarthy. Yeah, we have a slim majority. It takes time. But every election cycle, every 2 years, we're going to gain a little bit more. And that's right. And we're going to get rid of these people, not only in our party, but in the bureaucracy. I bet you in Trump's second term, he is going to do the largest hiring spree in the history of the federal government in recent years. What I mean is, all the agencies of the federal government, President Trump, I imagine, is going to go on a massive hiring spree. The post office, everything. So we can get good conservative people working inside the bureaucracy instead of leaving it to liberals. That takes time, you know, for them to move up through the ranks. I'm not talking about secretaries of this or that or undersecretaries. I'm talking about postal workers, postmasters, people like that in every government agency, not just the post office. I just use that to show you, you know, things you don't really think about that much. And the MAGA movement is going to be here forever. I've told you guys, you know, I have my retirement plan. My retirement is because I know it's going to be here. When I retire, I'm going to be a volunteer tour guide at President Trump's presidential museum. I know it's going to be close to Mar-a-Lago. There's no way it's not going to be here in Florida and close to Mar-a-Lago. Might even be Mar-a-Lago, who knows? But there's a lot of great places nearby. We got a great museum over there already, that Norton Museum. His presidential museum will be near the area, and my retirement is going to be a volunteer there. You know? And the reason I share that with you is I think most everybody in this listening audience, no matter where you're located, you can see yourself doing the same thing, volunteering in your retirement at the Trump Presidential Museum. And what I share that with you is because this bond that we have with him is something they still don't get. That's why this guy's saying there's different shades of MAGA. There's light pink, there's dark red, there's, I don't know what other colors he said, it's unimportant. They don't get it, they never will get it. It's really amazing. After all these years, they still don't get it. All right, we're going to take our last break of the first hour. My name is Brian. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth.
All right.
You're on the Steve Kane Show.
There's a story I want to share. I have the audio from it, but I'm not sure where I saw the story. Let me see if I can find it here. Okay. Got it. Okay, found the story I was looking for. This one's unbelievable. All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. It is 11 minutes before the top of the hour. Now, our cruise ship is pretty sold out for our cruise in April. But sometimes things come up and people have to change plans. And I talked to Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot a couple days ago, and I don't know if they're still available or not. So you're going to have to call him and find out. But there may be a couple of cabins that have opened up. Okay? So I'm going to give you his number. Those of you that have already booked, you need to touch base with Ian as well, because we want to make sure you're all set up with some things we're planning on the trip, including our shore excursions. But 2 days ago, he told me that there were a couple of openings of cabins on the ship. I don't know if they're still available, but when you call, he'll let you know right away, okay? I'll give you his number. This is Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. Our cruise on the Celebrity Beyond is on the 27th of April. And we're really kind of, this is our 5th annual MAGA cruise, but it's a week after my birthday and a week or two before Steve's birthday. So we're combining our birthdays on the cruise too. So you'll be a part of our birthday parties. The number for Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, let me make sure I get the number right, is 561-244-5779. I don't know if those cabins are left. Okay? I really don't. So I'm not promising you that there are, but you can call and find out. 561-244-5779. Some people at Wings Plus that are not booked were asking me about it, and just found that out after, because I called him after Wings Plus. So give him a call, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. That's Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. And I wanted to, by the way, this is an important point. You have to book through our travel agent to be a part of our group. If you don't book through our travel agent, you cannot participate in our group activities, okay? Because all of our activities on board and the excursions are exclusive to our group, all right? And I hope to see you all there. All right, now did you see this J6er that they arrested through the dating app? This is crazy what's going on. You know, in the communist Eastern Bloc during the Soviet Union days, all the countries behind the Iron Curtain, they were monitoring people's phone calls and everything else all the time. And if anyone said anything, you went off to the gulag. They busted in your door. And it's crazy that that's how it used to be. You know? That's how it used to be. They were monitoring everything. You know, I used to, during the Cold War, I used to be fascinated by that propaganda of the Cold War, which was all fake. Russia was a third world country. They were never a threat, but the military-industrial complex, they had half a century of selling stuff we didn't need, you know, and weaponry. But do you know in the Eastern Bloc countries, they would monitor people in their homes, and they would even monitor toilet flushing. And, you know, although liberals would like to do that today because they think it's bad for the environment if you flush too much, but they would monitor toilet flushing in the Eastern Bloc countries in the Soviet Union. If a toilet flushed and people weren't supposed to be home, they'd go and check it out. Why is there somebody there during the day? If it was a place where a woman lived alone, right, and it sounded like someone was urinating standing up, they would go in and search the place. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. That's how it was in the Soviet Union and behind the Iron Curtain. I know that sounds nuts. I've heard people from those countries talk about this multiple times in different interviews and books and things I've read. And of course, they monitored everyone's phone conversations. Now, there was no internet back then, but they would monitor internet activity back then if they had it, but they monitored everything that people had. You know, and it's pretty scary. It's frightening. It's frightening. Well, that's kind of what's going on here. Let me read through this story, and then I picked up some information about this. This is from NBC News. January 6th rider nabbed in Bumble dating app sting pleads guilty to assaulting officers. Now, I'll tell you, I do not support assaulting anyone, including police officers. He turned himself in. He was turned in by a Bumble user who used the dating app to try to elicit confessions from Trump supporters who took part in the Capitol attack. I'm reading from NBC News's website. Okay, and there's a guy who is a writer, and he has an organization called Sedition Hunters. Sedition Hunters. And I'll just read this from their website. Sedition Hunters is a global community of open source intelligence investigators working together to assist the U.S. FBI and Washington, D.C., Capitol Police in finding people who allegedly committed crimes in the January 6th Capitol riots. We've examined thousands of hours of videos, hundreds of images, searching for individuals who committed crimes on January 6, 2021 at the United States Capitol. As we look for those wanted by the FBI, we are able to identify other crimes and pass that information along to law enforcement. So that's where this story comes. And let me play this. This is the guy from Sedition Hunters who did this story. This is when Dinesh D'Souza's movie is called Police State. We are living in a police state. Listen to how this happened and what this liberal girl did to track down J6ers. This is crazy.
The night of January 6th, she was at home in her apartment, and a lot of Trump supporters were streaming back from the Capitol to a hotel nearby, and she saw this ask from the FBI saying that they were trying to identify the rioters. So she said, okay, let's get to work, right? So she opened up the Bumble app. Bumble is the dating platform where women make the first move. So she essentially just started matching with guys. She changed her profile to conservative. She took away the photo that she had from the Women's March after Donald Trump's inauguration to make sure that she looked like she was a conservative, and then started talking to people. 3 people she got to admit that they were near the Capitol on January 6th, and she actually got this one individual, Andrew Taki, to admit that he was on the front lines, and she turned that information into the FBI. And then a few months later, she got a call from from an FBI agent in the Houston area who was working on this case. Ended up that this Andrew individual was someone who had attacked officers. You can see it there in the photo with pepper spray, and he was there shortly after arrested. And so I got to talk to Claire about this, and she was amazed by how willing guys were just to turn over info based on talking to a woman that they just met online.
Okay, so yeah. Now I don't. If he did what they're alleging, there should be consequences. I don't support assaulting anyone, police officer, civilian, or anyone. I don't think anyone should be assaulted. So I'm not endorsing that. But look at what's going on here. You've got to be so careful. There have been several times when I've encountered people since January 6th that I felt were running some type of sting. The last time this happened, I probably shouldn't even tell you guys about this, but what the heck? It's holiday. It's almost Christmas, right? I'm not going to give you a lot of details, but at Wings Plus on Sunday, I didn't even tell Mike about this. I didn't tell Steve about this. I told no one about this because I wanted to think on it a little bit. And I'm not going to tell you about the conversation, but there was one guy that, and I met a lot of people at Wings Plus on Sunday, but there was one guy who was saying things to me in a question form to try to elicit a response. And the questions that he was asking all were questions that if someone called in with them on the air, I would hang up on them and dump the call. They were all inappropriate questions involving, you can figure it out. But this person they asked me 3-4 questions in a row, and they were in MAGA gear. As well, partial MAGA gear. I didn't get a good look at everything they were wearing. I was in shock at what they were asking, and my responses were nothing. It was the sound of silence, okay? And it was just too strange. They weren't making statements. They were asking questions and trying to get me to respond. You understand the difference? So if I would have answered in the way that they wanted me to, who knows? I've had this happen a couple other times. I told you after January 6th, I was up at Mar-a-Lago on Inauguration Day, And there was a guy that was in MAGA gear from head to toe, including MAGA socks. He was wearing shorts. He had MAGA socks on. 2 or 3 Democrats were across the street with Biden-Harris signs, and he was trying to get the crowd to go over there and confront them across the street. And everybody said, "Get out of here, Fed! Get out of here, Fed!" And he left. Didn't say he left. I saw one guy in a Proud Boys leather jacket, leather vest that had to cost $1,500, $2,000. It had Proud Boys custom and it was beautiful, right? That guy was a cop. I don't care what anybody tells me. When I see guys that are over 40, a group of guys, and not one of them has a beer belly, they have military haircuts, and they're all in perfect shape and flat stomachs, there's something off with that. But this guy at Wings Plus, and if you think you know who I'm talking about, you probably don't, okay? Because not everybody that was there was in that room with us. It was a very strange conversation that made me think a little bit. And I was a little off a little bit because I was like, so bizarre. Listen, we'll be back right after the break. Don't go anywhere.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK.
Find the latest trends, new arrivals, and great prices at a Macy's Backstage store near you. Let's drop it for more. Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the newly renovated poker room at PBKC with cash games, high-hand giveaways, mega bad beat jackpots, and big money tournaments. You can also play your favorite casino table games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum 7 days a week. Enjoy all the racing and sports action in the paddock with over 140 new HD TVs, exceptional eats, and a full bar. PBKC tickets and dining certificates make great holiday gifts. Go to pbkennelclub.com and happy holidays from PBKC.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News Update.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott chartered a flight to ship 120 undocumented migrants to Chicago.
Governor Abbott claimed responsibility for the charter flight, saying Sanctuary City Chicago started obstructing and targeting our busing mission. Texas will now expand our operation to include flights to Chicago. Until Biden steps up to secure the border, we will continue to provide overwhelmed Texas border towns with much-needed relief.
Administration's supplemental funding request, currently being haggled over by Senate negotiators, has $14 billion in it for the border. And Americans waking up in freedom this morning, back in the U.S. after a prisoner swap with Venezuela. A federal judge in Pittsburgh sentenced self-proclaimed white supremacist Hardy Carroll Lloyd to more than 6 years in prison for making threats against the jury and witnesses in the trial of the Tree of Life synagogue massacre shooter who was previously sentenced to death. This is ABC News.
Hey, this is Travis Kelce, NFL tight end and proud member of the Lowe's home team. Lowe's knows when you got the best price, you already won. That's why we offer the lowest price guarantee. If you find a better price online or in store, we'll match it. Now you can score on the top brands from the Lowe's home team picks, like Scotts, Speed, and DeWalt. So take on your projects with confidence. Lowe's is the exclusive home improvement retail partner of the NFL.
Solomon Home Security System and free doorbell camera with professional installation is free. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You
installation when you low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, 10 contacts, backup battery, and service plan. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME and you'll get a free doorbell camera with installation of your Sloman Shield. Sloman's home security, the ultimate in security. Call 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050.
Coming back.
It's the Steve Kane Show.
All right, and we are back. Call us on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. 5 minutes after the hour. Our number toll free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. You're welcome to call in about any and everything we brought up so far on this program. Brought up a lot of big things in the first hour. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
You got me thinking, man. Who was this fake MAGA guy? Was he in the back with us, or was he?
I'm not saying any more than I've already said.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, whatever.
I mean, I don't know for sure, but I just know he was asking weird questions. He wasn't and the thing is, he wasn't making statements. He was asking questions to try to get me to say something. And I didn't. I just stood there in silence.
Good. That's the best way to do it. Just to ignore him. Anyway, I wear my MAGA hat all the time when I go to the store. I went to Costco yesterday, and normally when I go there, I'll get a couple of people give me a thumbs up sign or wave or something. But yesterday, man, there were so many responses. 3 people came up to me. One guy wanted to shake my hand. Another guy said, "Oh, it's terrible what they're doing to Trump." And the last guy says, "Well, thank you for wearing that hat, man. It's really good." I said, "Where's your hat?" He said, "I'm afraid to wear it because, I'm afraid the Democrats will pick on me or something." I said, "Yeah, man, don't worry about it. I can understand you're worried, but most of these Democrats are all talking."
I haven't encountered too many problems. There's been a couple times when I've been on Fort Lauderdale Beach and gay guys have given me the middle finger. I made a YouTube video, showing that the seas aren't rising on Fort Lauderdale Beach. And what I did was I went to spots that were filmed. Some of you may have seen this. The classic movie Where the Boys Are was filmed in 1960 on Fort Lauderdale Beach. And since I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, I know, even though a lot of those places are gone, except for the Elbow Room, I went to the places that are in Where the Boys Are and showed them today. The ocean's where it was, okay? And I'm filming, and this gay guy, and I could tell because, I got the camera on. He comes and gives me the middle finger right in front of the camera. I was down there another day on Fort Lauderdale Beach live streaming, and a group of gay bicyclists come by. You know how they do on the weekends? And I know they're gay because they got rainbow flags flying on their bicycles. They come by in mobs, like 20, 30 bikes, and they start yelling the F word at me and call me the AH and stuff. So the only time I've encountered problems really are from gays that want people to accept everything about them, but they're not very accepting, it seems.
Well, like I said, the Democrats all talk mostly cowardly. I mean, this is what they are. They're not going to bother anybody. But I guess some people have to be careful. But
yes,
something yesterday on the radio that another station that
there are no other radio stations. What are you talking about?
Well, not in the morning anyway. This legal expert was saying that these judges in Colorado are really just partisan hacks. There's absolutely no way that this should be done, because there was no insurrection. All it was a protest that went a little wild. There's no insurrection. So what?
Well, wait a minute. Even if there was, Trump didn't do it. So even if there was, it doesn't mean that he can't do it. I mean, come on. Give me a break. I mean, a group of terrorist supporters, those that support Hamas, stormed the Capitol again. This is like the third insurrection they've had. Does that mean the Democrats can't be on ballots because people that support them do think? What BLM? How many things have been vandalized and burned down by by Democrat black activists over the years. Like remember the LA riots? So can Democrats and Maxine Waters, by the way, cheered that on. And that was an insurrection not against the federal government or the local government, but come on. Bernie Sanders, one of his campaign workers, shot Steve Scalise. So Bernie Sanders, is he responsible for that?
Yeah, that's the other side of the coin. What they do is okay, but anybody, a Republican, no, you can't do that because you're Republican. But this is the way it is, man. But I'm hoping that the Supreme Court's going to quickly jump in and get rid of this, because the Supreme Court, I find.
Oh no! Didn't you see California? The Lieutenant Governor of California is now looking at taking Trump off the California ballot. See, this is an interesting thing, and I was telling you guys, this is the Republican establishment, and what they're going to do. They want to have a contested convention. They want to have a brokered convention, and even if they don't keep Trump off the ballot, they're going to say the people wanted it. They're setting the stage. It's called foreshadowing. If you're making like a movie or something, they're foreshadowing the brokered convention. They got California talking about it. They got Colorado talking. You understand what so that this is what they're going to try to do.
Yeah. Well, this is so important. I'm hoping that the Supreme Court will say enough is enough. Let me do this.
But these people aren't going to listen to the Supreme Court. They don't care. These are Democrats. Hey, Doug, appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. This is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
Want to wish you, your wife, and your daughter, and everyone out there, all the people that listen, a Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year. And I want to get that out of the way And there's a couple things on my mind here. Usually, years ago, people would say, "Who are you voting for?" and people would be silent. It was like you don't talk about that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're wearing MAGA hats, and you got a president of the United States who stood in front of everybody and said the white supremacy and extreme MAGA and their media talking points. If you shows extreme MAGA, they have labeled us as whack jobs.
Correct.
Turn the American people against this movement, and and I hear Doug. It's not just the Democrats, Doug. Get it out of your head. McCarthy is, there's a congressman that is a MAGA congressman. I forgot his name. I just had it on my tongue. McCarthy's now going to primary him. He's spending his money to primary this guy. Oh, Bob Good.
Yeah, that's going to be Kevin McCarthy. See, Kevin McCarthy, what's his next job going to be? It's going to be to try to get MAGA Republicans out of office.
Exactly. These people are worse than the Democrats, because the Democrats are right out there telling you. These are the ones that don't. These are the ones that when the big folks come up, you say, geez, we only got 30 Republicans or 40 Republicans, and the whole cluster of them. They're all about themselves. They're not about the people. And I just hope that all this clears up for President Trump. I really mean it. I see that.
It'll never end. I told you guys this, okay? And unless we control many years from now, like 40 years from now, when President Trump passes away, unless we have the MAGA Republicans controlling the House at that time, they won't let him. I bet they won't let him lay in state. There will be a controversy in saying he cannot lay in state because of the Capitol insurrection of January 6th. When he passes. Do you understand that? When President Carter passes away, this is going to be listen. President Carter, I mean, my goodness, he was a very bad president, but he looked so bad at Rosalind's. But when President Carter sadly passes away, okay, listen, I remember him being president barely. Do you think Trump's going to be invited to the funeral? Are they going to have all the other presidents except President Trump there? What do you think?
Absolutely, but it's not just president, it's us. It's our movement.
That's right, it's us. And I think he should go anyway and show up. But I don't think they'll want him there. They'll say the family doesn't want him there.
Yeah, that's the truth. I mean, this is against the American. This is against anybody that thinks for themselves. These people want to control us. It's all about control. The climate change is about control. I could go on and on and on. It's control.
Well, and the problem for them is they've lost control. Now they still have a lot of control over the process because they're so entrenched in the government. You know, I mean, we're in the majority of the electorate, but in the minority of who controls the party and the government because they're so entrenched.
Well, they vote against everything we want every time. Do you think the American people want open borders?
If they had a vote, if there was a vote for speaker right now, some of those Republicans would vote for a Democrat over this MAGA Republican speaker we've got, Mike Johnson.
150%. 150%. So we've been labeled as extreme kooks. We might as well be KKK.
Yes.
We're wackos.
Correct.
Merry Christmas.
Yes. And to all a good night. Yes, you got to get that part in. All right, we'll take our first break of the hour and be back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott reminding you can get away in 2024 with Margaritaville at Sea. And for a limited time, get 60% off on all cruises to the Bahamas, starting at just $59 a person. Celebrate the season with fun-soaked cruises on the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. Sailing 2- and 3-night getaways from Palm Beach to Grand Bahama Island. Plus, kick off your new year in a margarita state of mind. Get 5 free drinks on all January and February sailings. Savor this season's greetings and book today at margaritavillasea.com.
With Florida Cash Home Buyers. We're looking to buy more houses here in South Florida and would love to make you a no-obligation cash offer on your home. If you own a house, condo, or any other type of property and want to sell it quickly with no hassles, call me at 561-570-7070. We've been buying houses since 2011 and helped hundreds of homeowners sell their homes without the hassles and costs of listing with an agent. We're rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau and have over 100 excellent online reviews from our happy sellers. People love working with us, and so will you. Whether you have a damaged fixer-upper home or a beautiful home that doesn't need any repairs, we can buy it. You don't need to clean or fix anything, and there's no commissions or closing costs. If you want to sell your home easily on your terms, call us today for a free offer. 561-570-7070. That's 561-570-7070. 561-570-7070.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back. Call us on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You know, I was telling you guys yesterday, I was up for almost 2 days yesterday. courtesy of Steve and PJ calling me and texting me and stuff late at night. And I was talking yesterday how tired I wasn't on, and I had to go down to Miami when I got off the air yesterday, and oh man. But when I got home last night and I got in bed and I got on that MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper 2.0, it was just like amazing. You know, it's like having a team of beautiful masseuses around me just massaging my body. It felt so good. It's just like, just all the stress, all the exhaustion just disappeared, and I don't know what happened too much after that, because seconds later I was sound asleep till it was time to get up this morning, and I slept like a baby. You know, the Mattress Topper 2.0, which is 40% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, will turn your entire bed into a MyPillow. It's amazing. If you think you need a new mattress, get a MyPillow Mattress Topper 2.0. It's a major upgrade on the original 3-inch mattress topper, because this one has the temperature regulating technology. Keeps you warm in the winter and cool in the summer. It's amazing. Your entire body, just like the pillows do for your head and face, this does for your whole body. And it will just change the way you sleep. You think you've gotten a good night's sleep. You have not until you sleep on the MyPillow Mattress Topper 2.0. Comes in every mattress size there is. You can go to MyPillow.com, 40% off at checkout when you use our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, toll free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, this is Jennifer. I'm calling from Florida.
Yes, Jennifer.
Hi. Oh my God, I can't believe I got through. I met you and Mr. Steve at the Wing Restaurant.
Wings Plus. Yes.
Yes, Wings Plus. Steve said to say it's Jennifer Lynn. This is Jennifer Lynn, and you would remember me.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say 4 days till Merry Christmas. I want to say Happy Holidays to you and Steve. You are a part of my morning. Every single morning when I go to work, I listen to you guys for about a good 45 minutes.
Great.
Love you guys. I would love to see a show with you and Vivek on air. Like, I think it would be fabulous. I wear my Trump gear everywhere I go. I get looks. I heard the caller earlier, and I don't care. I don't.
Well, Vivek doesn't say anything I disagree with. It's so if we were on, and he would not own any of this Soros stuff. I'm sure I'd like him and be impressed. He's very charismatic.
Oh, yes, very, very. And I think you guys make a great team. Awesome team.
A team, yeah. Okay. All right, I appreciate it. Well, thanks for coming out to Wings Plus. I appreciate it, all right?
All the way.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know. We have nice listeners. A lot of times people judge our listeners by some of these wackadoodle callers, and it's, very few people that listen to this program do you ever hear call. And when you go to our events or our cruises and things like this, you get a whole nother vision of our audience than what you hear with some of the callers. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. I've got a question. Would you look up for Paint to Trump? Because it's a website.
When you look up what?
Paint the Trump.
Hate the Trump?
Yeah, paint. Like paint.
Oh, okay.
Trump. They have flag waving, and I think you need to watch some of our videos from today.
Okay.
The third day.
Okay. I'll look it up. I'll Google it. All right? Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Bob in Lake Worth.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, listen, Brian, good morning. It just frustrates me so to no end to hear these idiots call, it's the end of democracy. But in the meantime, they have super delegates to keep Bernie Sanders off the ballot. They got super delegates to make sure Joe Biden nomination. They are trying to keep our President Trump, the great...
Yeah.
off the ballot, but we're the ones that are going to end democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Department of Justice doing all this crap. They're having all these phony, these kangaroo courts for President Trump to keep him off the ballot. But we're the ones going to end democracy. The transference is amazing with these people. How they project everything they do, everything we do.
Well, I'll tell you, it's two things, okay? With white Democrats, because there's a racial split on this, okay? With white Democrats, they're Saul Alinsky disciples, and remember, Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals, rule number 1, accuse your opponent of doing what you're doing. But for minorities, okay, minority Democrats, blacks mostly, but non-white Democrats, they believe white people have had a voice for long enough in this country, and it's their time to have a voice, and democracy is minority rule over non-whites. So that's what they mean by that. It's racism.
My sister used to work in a dialysis center up in central Georgia, poor part of town, and all these poor guys would do was listen to CNN and that poison.
Yes.
Every word. No one does absolutely any research. Nobody checks anything out. Nobody realizes how much better we were under President Trump. But yet he's the racist. He's the one that's going to, is the terrorist. He's everything. It just...
When President, appreciate the call, thanks so much, good call. When President Trump was president, black employment was at its highest level since statistics have been kept. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, I didn't know if you heard that Jay Sekulow and the ACLJ sent an emergency appeal for President Trump on the unconstitutional removing him from ballot. And I looked that up, and it said the Supreme Court had 60 days to respond to that.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking by the end of February that they can make a ruling?
Well, that's a deadline. They have that long to make a ruling. But I was telling you guys. See, it was what I was talking to a caller a couple calls back, and I told the caller, I said, with this taking Trump off the ballot in Colorado, and now they're talking about doing it in California. This is not the Democrats. This is the never-Trumper Republican establishment, okay? The Liz Cheney wing are behind this. And what they're doing is they're setting the stage for a brokered convention. And what they want to be able to go to the convention and have the delegates from California and Colorado in play. They're going to try. Listen. If there's somebody hanging off a ledge of a skyscraper, they hold on. They know they're done, but they hang in there until every possible moment of life is still there, to the last millisecond. That's what these never-Trumpers in the Republican Party are doing. They've always got a scheme. They're hanging in there for dear life, and they're setting the stage for a brokered convention. And that's what they're doing here. And that's what this whole ballot business is about, I believe.
Hey, Brian, that is a great analogy. I really like that, because we know that our biggest enemies are the rhinos, not the Democrats.
Correct.
The Democrats stand, and we have never been surprised. It's all these Republicans that have stabbed Trump in the back.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. That's exactly right. All right, I got to run for a break, but good call, Jeff. Thanks so much. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
So it wasn't just California either. I saw a post yesterday saying 16 other states
Really?
take him off of the ballot. In California, Texas was on that list as well. Texas.
For these people that call in to promote other YouTube channels, do you hear me promoting myself on other people's YouTube? The reason I don't like it is because I don't know who these people are. They could say, you know what I mean?
Could be a setup too.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, go here. Yeah, support this person.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Yeah.
Like New Hampshire, Arizona, Michigan.
Oh, okay. I'll look it up. Yeah, you can text it to me.
Because I saw it last night.
Yeah.
I didn't want to send it to you in the morning.
No, that's okay. Yeah, like these others.
I was like, I'll send it to you in the morning. I'll just show you in the morning.
Sarah sent me a text at 2:30 this morning, but I'm up then. But still. Yeah, let me see. What time did Sarah text? I wasn't mad about that when I texted her. Let's see here. 2:41. She texted me. She was at the airport. 2:41 a.m. But I'm up then.
Yeah. And they heard, oh, you on that, you get on 2, do show.
Yeah. Okay. Hey guys, thanks everyone who is followed my Rumble channel. If you've not done it yet, I put the link to my Rumble at the top of the chat. So if you could click that and follow me there, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, Tom Fenton looks like he lifts a lot of weights, doesn't he? His sleeves are like ready to rip when he's on TV. I guess that's where ripped comes from. Like you're so muscular, you're ripping your shirts.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a midday crash on a daily basis? Women, are menopause symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, and depression making your daily life feel far more difficult than it should? Men, do you feel like you are aging far beyond what you should? Is your sexual life and relationship suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom? Then take action and let our medical team at Lighthouse Medical Center help you stop the symptoms that are holding you back. We use all natural hormone optimization therapies with precision technology to help solve your problematic symptoms. Our family-owned practice has had the honor of serving our South Florida community for over 71 years. Call us right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
This is my favorite one of my MAGA hats. This one is kind of sun faded because I've had it for so long. You know, I wear this so much, but this is like my favorite one. This is not the one I wore to Wings Plus. The one I wore to Wings Plus on Sunday was one of my newer ones. This is the one I was wearing on the catamaran on the last cruise. It blew off, almost went in the ocean, and then Rob, who goes, he's in watches on YouTube. He goes on our cruises. He dived down and grabbed it right before it went in the ocean and saved it. I would have died if I lost my MAGA hat. I did bring extra MAGA hat though in my cabin, but this one here is my favorite one. All right.
6 years.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Coming up on 35 minutes after the hour. It's Thursday morning, the Thursday before Christmas. That's kind of a sad Christmas at my house. There's so many different stages in life, isn't there? As you grow older, you see them. But this is the first Christmas where my daughter's not going to be home for Christmas. She moved to California Christmas Day last year. She flew out on Christmas Day last year. She had Christmas with us in the morning and everything. She left late in the day. But this is our first Christmas without her being here. She's coming after the 1st to stay with us for a week. But it's just kind of weird. I don't know what my wife and I are going to do on Christmas. What do you do? This is the first time in, my daughter's going to be 25 next year in a few months, in 3 months. So I don't know so would this be our 24th Christmas or 20? I can't do the math like that. But this is like our first Christmas in like 24 years without having a child at home in the morning at Christmas. It's kind of it's a weird. I know all parents go through this. This is all that empty nest stuff, but it's weird. And of course, we're sending the Christmas gifts, to her. She doesn't even they're not even wrapped, right? Because we're sending things to her, But my pillow, we got her the bed, we got her all kinds of stuff. But it's just weird. So I don't know. It's kind of be a weird Christmas. I'll be like Al the John, waking up on Christmas, no kids. I'll have a wife though, unlike Al. Oh, but it is kind of weird. What do you do? I guess it's like a normal day, right? What's open on Christmas? Oh my goodness, Chinese restaurants and movie theaters. I know they're open, but other than that, what's open on Christmas morning? Because on Christmas I'm going to still wake up at like 4 or 5 in the morning. I don't know. It's going to be a sad Christmas. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Dan, Florida. I got a new name.
Oh, you're the perfect person to answer this. What's it like waking up on Christmas morning without kids? I'm sure you have a lifetime of that.
Well, it would be based on this new word. You heard it first here, Republicrats. You heard it first here, Republicrats. They're basically the same as Democrats, but they're supposedly Republicans. What do you think of that?
I don't know.
Well, you're pretty one-sided. That's the problem.
What side are you? Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I just got a text from Al Knight. He said the casinos are open. Okay. The vices of gambling. By the way, Al Knight, who does weekends here on True Oldies, he was at Wings Plus with us, and he said some very nice things to the group about us, which was very nice. Oh, man. Okay, so Charlie Kirk, his Turning Point USA movement is amazing. Charlie Kirk is with young people. Turning Point USA is a very, very active activist organization. They have groups at colleges and high schools throughout America, okay? And you know what he's like? He's kind of like Pat Robertson in the 90s. What he has is, it's like the Christian Coalition. Remember, the Christian Coalition used to be a big deal, and everybody always had to go to Pat Robertson to ask them their thoughts on everything that happened. Someone got arrested for jaywalking if it was in the news. Well, what are his thoughts on jaywalking? And that's kind of how it's become with Charlie Kirk. He is a leader of a group that I don't think people thought would ever exist. A group of millions of young people, college age and high school age, around the world that are conservatives. And he may be more influential than even Pat Robertson. And I went to that Turning Point. I was invited by Charlie Kirk to go to the Turning Point in Palm Beach. I'm not a big name dropper, but I do drop on occasion. And the reason I went is because I was invited by Charlie Kirk. I got to meet 2 people that I wanted to meet, and I think you can guess who those 2 are at the event. And the Turning Point USA, they had another event out in Phoenix over the weekend. It was the one Roseanne was at. And they sold 13,000 tickets. And those tickets ain't cheap. I'm here to tell you. They are not cheap. I didn't have to buy a ticket because Charlie Kirk gave me a ticket. They sold 13,000 tickets. That's a record of attendance for Charlie Kirk so far as selling tickets. And this is significant for a couple reasons. Obviously, it's significant because it's young people, right? It's young people, college age and high school. That's significant, okay? But This one's a little different because when you go to Turning Point USA, typically you go, it's almost like a rock concert. You go for who will be there. And, you know, they have headliners. And there were two major headliners at the one that I went to, and that's why I went. The greatest president ever, President Trump and Tucker Carlson. And I wanted to meet them both. And they both spoke. But this event, Charlie Kirk gave an interview to Breitbart about it. And this was amazing. This record-breaking event. And he said this was the first, which was amazing, that they had no Fox personalities at this one. Typically, what Charlie Kirk will do is have a Fox News personality speaking there to draw conservatives to go. He broke a record in attendance without one Fox News personality there, which shows you that they are losing their influence. And it's really a sad thing because Fox used to be our conservative place, and they've lost it. Not one Fox spokesperson. That's amazing. We have a whole new group of rock stars, like Roseanne Barr, Patrick Bet-David was there, a whole bunch of them. And that's a really significant thing. And that's why, you know, if this narrative that if our pro-life position will hurt us in this election, that's Fox News nonsense. That's not true. Kellyanne Conway disagrees with that, but others do as well. But that's the Fox News talking points. And this event with Charlie Kirk shows that it's not Fox News, just they're not as important as they were. Now, Kellyanne Conway, I'm sure you heard this clip. I want to play because it leads into this story I have. Kellyanne Conway, she had a very funny line talking about liberals and Trump yesterday.
I just think the Democrats wake up every morning, Emily, and they look at the calendar. The iPhone says January 6, 2021. The date never changes. And then they get an electric vehicle and go get an abortion. I just described the Democratic Party to you in 7 seconds. That's it. That's what I see. But
that's pretty funny, huh? Yeah, well, hey, listen. You know, you got to take an electric car for your abortion. You know, you got to reduce the carbon impact. Pretty funny. Well, there's a story. This is huge about Buick. Have you guys seen this story about Buick? About 1/2 of Buick dealers across the United States have chosen to no longer be Buick dealers. That's right. I'll just read the beginning of this. This is out of Breitbart. Almost half of Buick dealers across the United States have opted to take buyouts from General Motors to avoid having to sell Buick's electric vehicles. Consumer reports are showing Americans are turned off by electric vehicles. According to General Motors, about 1,000 of its nearly 2,000 Buick dealerships across the U.S. chose to take buyouts from the parent company, and rather than investing in carrying the electric vehicles, which would be required. That means they're no longer Buick dealers. They're no longer Buick dealers. Buick just lost half of their dealership franchises because of electric vehicles. And those dealers chose no longer to have Buick. And you know, Buick has had a big comeback among young buyers. Buick used to be, you know, for grandma and grandpa, and in the last 5 or 10 years, it's become a hipster car. I wouldn't mind having a Buick. I mean, I like Buicks. I've always liked Buicks. I like the name, but I like them. But when half of Buick dealerships are no longer going to be Buick dealerships any longer next year, they just left over the electric vehicles. That tells you a couple things. Wow, you hear all those police cars? Wow. Heard a whole bunch of police cars just go by the radio station. That must be the PC police, right? But when half of the dealerships are no longer going to be Buick dealerships, that's huge. And, you know, like with many things that are pushed by the left, many things pushed by the media, people don't want electric vehicles. They used to, but the problem with electric vehicles, it's the word of mouth. The word of mouth on EV owners is they're awful. It's very difficult to charge, the range, etc., etc. Very bad word of mouth, because the entire media have for years, even still today, on a constant infomercial promoting EVs. And half of Buick dealers no longer being, what kind of dealer will they be? They're not going out of business. They've just left Buick. And I have never known, I'm sure it's happened, but I've never known dealers to say, I no longer want to sell a name brand like that. Have you? Have you ever seen it? I've seen dealers, they'll open up a second type of dealership right next door. But I've never seen a dealer say, I no longer want to be a part of a major brand like that. And it's all over the electric vehicles according to the dealers. That's a huge story. And I got to see it too much in the media because it doesn't fit the narrative. All right, we'll take the last break of the second hour and be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right on The Steve.
All right, and it's time to check in with attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group, who I was texting yesterday by mistake. You know, Barry is the second most common name in my phone book on my phone. The other one's Mike. I have a lot of Mikes, and then right after Mike, I've got about 7 Barrys in my phone book, and I was texting another Barry. Luckily, I didn't text anything by mistake that I, shouldn't. But it's kind of funny. I know people do that all the time. So what do you have for us today, Barry?
Well, what I have this morning, here we are about 10 days out from the end of the year. So those New Year's resolutions that we made at the beginning of the year, it's our last chance. And, of course, I'm going to talk about estate planning for those of you who made getting your estate plan either done or updated one of your New Year's resolutions. Of course, there's other things that you may want to look at on your resolution list from the beginning of this year. But to try to help anybody who actually is looking to make good on that resolution of getting their estate planning done in 2023, or at least getting it started, I'm going to do something that we've never done before. For anybody who wants to get started with their estate planning, and anybody who books an appointment and comes in before the end of the year, we are open next week as well. We are going to offer one of two things, depending, and it's a client's choice for anybody who starts their estate planning and does a trust plan and starts it before the end of the year. Either A, they can get a free deed, a deed that will transfer the property, their existing property, into their trust. There's normally a charge for that. And then secondly, if not a deed, then also we will do a power of attorney for their adult child. Of course, the adult child has to be a Florida resident. So either one of those things is an add-on. So if anybody wants to get started with their estate planning and schedule an appointment before the end of the year, those will be additional benefits that we will offer them for free as an incentive to get started with the process and make sure that they meet their New Year's resolutions for 2023. We haven't gotten started on 24 yet.
Yeah, that's amazing. And no matter where you are in the state of Florida, the Siegel Law Group can help because, the one thing we got out of the pandemic, people are accustomed now to Zoom and FaceTime and doing things like that normally they would not be interested in doing. So no matter where you are in the state of Florida, you can get these great benefits that Barry's talking about, but the Siegel Law Group can handle everything for you as well, no matter where you are located. And with you have your primary office in Boca, but people that want to meet in person, tell people where your physical office locations are throughout South Florida.
Well, we have our main office in Boca Raton, right off of Military and Butts, just north of Blades Road, and then we have numerous offices throughout South Florida, including now Naples, Florida, over on the West Coast, and over here on the East Coast, we're in Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, we're in Plantation, Coral Springs, Miami, Aventura, Coral Gables, and Palm Beach Gardens.
That's right. So offices everywhere. But again, no matter where you are in the state of Florida, the Siegel Law Group can help. Give them a call, toll free. Now, mention you heard attorney Barry Siegel here on the program, and it's a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group, all right? 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, attorney Barry Siegel will finish out the week tomorrow. All right. Take care. We'll be right back.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on.
All right. Welcome back, one and all. Okay, so now these never Trumpers in the Republican Party, they've got all kinds of things going on here. Okay, I was talking earlier about these ballot things and everything else. Nikki Haley, she is dangerous, man. I think, I know this is a bold statement, but she's more dangerous than Hillary. Well, certainly more dangerous now because Hillary's like done. She's retired. But as president, Nikki Haley would be more dangerous than if Hillary would have become president. Because Hillary, you know what Hillary would have done as president? Absolutely nothing. She would have gone around and celebrated being the first female president for her whole presidency. Nikki Haley is a spokesmodel for the war machine. Nikki Haley wants to spread war. Nikki Haley wants war, endless war. And places we're not having it because the military-industrial complex are behind her. She's a paid spokesperson for them, right? And she scored an endorsement from Republican establishment never-Trumper Governor Sununu in New Hampshire. And there's a new poll out, and let me just read this. Nikki Haley has doubled her support in New Hampshire. Donald Trump continues to lead the pack of Republican primary candidates by double digits. The latest survey, for which I cannot find the internals of, have her gaining support. And this is in New Hampshire. President Trump is at 44. Nikki Haley is at 30. She was at 15 in the last poll. They're saying she doubled her support. Now, one of the reasons she's doubling her support is because other people have either dropped out or faded out, even though they're still in the race. So the never-Trumper support is coalescing now around her, and that's going to increase her number. I would not say that President Trump has lost anything in New Hampshire. You just have fewer people for the never-Trumpers to grab onto. Okay? But the way they report it is Trump's lead's been cut in half. And his lead's the same. It's just there's fewer people that are in the running or are considered viable by the never-Trumpers. But here's a couple things about this. I've not been able to find the internals of that poll. And if someone has them, please get them to me. There's a poll today that I'll give you an example. There's a poll today. The internals, by the way, are who they polled and everything. There's a poll today showing that the majority of people support Trump not being on the ballot in Colorado. Over 60% of people they polled were Democrats. So, I mean, what kind of poll is that? You know what I mean? So I'd like to see the sampling of this poll, but I wasn't able to find it. Now, I'm not saying it's hidden, but I'm just saying I could not easily find it. So if anybody has this poll in New Hampshire, I'm happy to look at it. See, I don't follow polls. I never have. Steve and I have always had a disagreement about this. You know, Steve follows the polls because of his gambling addictions, you know, and he's into numbers and stuff like this, you know, and I think that's why he follows polls. The polls that we see are not scientific polls. They're called push polls. Scientific polls are polls that they never show the public, that show what's actually going on. Push polls are you guys are smart, you know what that means. These are polls that are meant to push people in a certain direction of thinking. Like this poll that says the majority believe that Trump should not be on the ballot in Colorado. Give me a break. That's not even credible. But, you know, if you ask Democrats, they believe that because they got insurrection on the brain, that Trump had no part in any of that, and it wasn't an insurrection anyway. But the media, you know, the media are not very creative. They don't have reporters like they used to that go out and cover stories. So what the media have done, and they've done this for decades, but they do it more so now, in absence of an angle, a story, or an investigation, what they do is they grab polls and they'll spend an entire day talking about polls. And this poll in New Hampshire that I can't find the breakdown internals of, and I'd really like to see who they polled. I don't trust this poll. This will be a story. Oh, Nikki Haley's doubled her lead. Remember I told you guys a couple weeks ago, they're trying to pull Nikki through South Carolina. Okay? They're trying to get her... Didn't I tell you this? I've been telling you this for the last couple weeks. When you get close to these primaries, and I'm not going to say Iowa caucus all the time. I know it's not a primary, it's a caucus, but, you know. It's an inconvenient word that sounds like another word you can't say on the radio, okay? But when you finally get down to these primaries, chances are that the returns will not match the polls. There's a high likelihood Trump's going to win them, but he may not win. He'll probably not win by the wide margins in the polls. He could. I hope he does. But I've been following these things for a long time, and rarely do they do that. So they want to have a spin. So the spin in New Hampshire is Nikki Haley's doubled her lead. Well, she's still 30 points behind President Trump. 30. That's a landslide victory against Nikki Haley. So, if you're at 1 and you double it, you're at 2. If you really doubled, you understand what I mean? I mean, technically you've doubled your support. But they're using this poll to get a media narrative going on. Oh, Nikki Haley's doubled her support in New Hampshire. And another thing, she's got the crooked governor up there, this never-Trumper governor, Sununu, behind her, okay, who's part of the Republican establishment. He inherited this job from his daddy. New Hampshire is a crossover state, meaning Democrats can vote in the Republican primary. So what I really hope we can get when New Hampshire is over, Trump will win it, but I'm hoping we can get an accurate breakdown on Republican versus Democrats that vote for Nikki Haley. She'll probably finish second in New Hampshire. I'd like to find out what the breakdown of Republican versus Democrat is in New Hampshire. Okay? Iowa, the caucus is a crossover too. I don't know if they have the ability to do that breakdown. They do things so weird there. And I'd like to know in New Hampshire the Democrat to Republican numbers that vote for Nikki Haley in the New Hampshire primary, and compare that to those crossovers in past Republican primaries. We very well may have the highest Democrat turnout in a Republican primary in New Hampshire in the history of the New Hampshire primary. All right? Because they're working on getting Democrats to vote Nikki Haley, because if they're trying to get her in as close as a second to give more credibility for the media narrative going into South Carolina, where she was twice elected governor. And they figure if they can get her, there's a chance that there's a slight chance in their imagination that she could win South Carolina. I doubt that, or I'd be seeing South Carolina polls all day, all night, right? I mean, Trump's over 30 points ahead of DeSantis here in Florida. He's the sitting governor. She was governor a long time ago and didn't even finish her second term. But she could come in if she in a much closer second in South Carolina in their plan. And you look at what they're doing with the ballots. They're setting the stage to have a broker convention with Nikki Haley and someone else. That's what their plan is. Now, I want to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas was here yesterday, who gave me he gave me a Christmas gift, and it was like when he was leaving, I was still on the air, and I looked, and there was a beautiful hat in there, and I was like, I thanked him for it and everything, and then I went home, and there were 2 other very nice things in the Christmas bag that Joe Thomas gave me yesterday. So if you're listening to Joe Thomas, thank you so much for that. I didn't see the other 2 items when you were here. But he's offering 2 gifts to everybody in this listening audience. He's offering free copies of his book, The Retirement Know-It-All, and free phone consultations. He's a retirement expert. He's a financial advisor. You've heard he and I talk about annuities. With annuities, unlike the stock market and other things, 401ks, your money is not at risk. Your money is safe and secure, and you can have guaranteed income forever. It's absolutely amazing. That's what I like. Not risking my money and having income. Give him a call. No matter where you're located, he'll give you a free copy of his book and give you that free phone consultation. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. I did not know this, but 401ks, IRAs, bonds, mutual funds, they're like stocks. They don't guarantee you an income stream for life, but annuities do. And who doesn't need a little more money? Not just in this god-awful Biden economy, but everyone always could use a little extra money, especially when you're retired. So give Joe Thomas a call. Take advantage of both of these free offers. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed that number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com, and you can get the number there. All right, we'll take our break for the top of the hour and come back with the final hour of this Thursday morning edition of the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm Brian Craig. Our number, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. We'll take our break and be back right after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK. On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the third hour of this Thursday morning edition of the Steve Kane Show. You know, I was listening the top of the hour. They had a story on the 10 Americans released from Venezuela. Who do they think they are? How many millions of Venezuelans? They're emptying out their prisons and sending Venezuelans here. And Biden had to negotiate and give them a money launderer in exchange for this guy. I wonder if that money launderer was his son, Hunter. But I mean, why are there any Americans in prison in Venezuela? They're emptying out their jails and sending other criminals here. This is insane. We're taking in all these Venezuelans, and we had to make a deal to get Americans back. That's an example of American weakness. This is the most dangerous period that this country has been in since the Cuban Missile Crisis, because we have a weak leader. I wouldn't be negotiating with Venezuela for anything. First off, I'd cut off all U.S. aid to Latin America. I'd get every American out. But I'll tell you another thing. There should be an oil embargo on Venezuela. Venezuela is an OPEC nation. A lot of people don't know that. It's an OPEC nation. I'd stop all Venezuelan oil. I mean, this is just dangerous. This country has never been so weak. And when I make that comparison to the Cuban Missile Crisis, I'm not kidding. Now, I was reading this story in the Gateway Pundit. A Virginia school board member was sworn in for his second term on a stack of controversial LGBTQ plus books instead of the Bible. Fairfax County School Board member Carl Frisch, who is gay, swore on the 5 LGBTQ-themed books that were most frequently banned by other school systems. Official statement is this: he was sworn in on a stack of the 5 LGBTQ-themed books most frequently banned by other school systems. He's the vice chair of the school board. He is the first LGBTQ plus person elected to local office in Virginia's largest county, and one of only 4 openly gay school board members in the Commonwealth out of roughly 800 members. I've got a list of the books, which I'll go through in a second. This is the thing about school boards. Why is this guy on the school board? You know, the problem with school boards, the only people on a school board should be people who have children in the school district. Not activist Democrats or even activist Republicans. Parents. Like, I mean, come on. Like, I remember, what's this guy doing on a school board? Does he have kids in the district? I didn't see that in the article. If he did, we'd know about it. In fact, you never hear about anybody on a school board, regardless of their backgrounds, children in the district very often, do you? You know, I remember when the Boy Scouts, which really no longer exist, it's the Boys and Girl Scouts now, you know, and when the gay scouting thing started, in the openly gay Scoutmaster thing that they pushed, they started pushing that in the 90s. And it led to the destruction of the Boy Scouts. And we did a lot of shows on that. And there was this one guy who was an Eagle Scout, grown man, gay, big activist. He used to come in studio, grown man wearing his Boy Scout uniform with all his Eagle Scout patches and everything else. And really strange guy. I can't remember his name. We had him here many, many times. But the Boy Scouts, what we started asking these guests that we would have on it, why are you a Boy Scout leader? Why do you want to be a Boy Scout leader? There are only 2 types of people, and this guy's the exclusion to the rule, but there's only 2 types of people that, in my opinion, should be Boy Scout leaders. 1, parents who have boys in the troop and former Eagle Scouts, except this one weirdo that we used to have on the show all the time. Because Eagle Scouts are a good role model. When I was in scouting, everyone that was involved had kids in the troop. My den mother, her son was in my den. The guys that led the whole troop, their sons were in the scout. I do not remember a single Boy Scout leader or den mother when I was a Boy Scout as a kid who didn't have a kid in the troop. And you know that because you know their sons. And what I would ask these people at the time is, what if I went down at my age and I went down to the Girl Scouts and said I want to be a Girl Scout leader without having a girl in the Girl Scouts? My daughter, we got her in Girl Scouts. She didn't like it. She wasn't. But if I went down today to become a Girl Scout leader right here from the studio, what do you think they would say to me? They'd say, "What are you, some kind of pervert?" Exactly. Why would a man who doesn't have a girl in the troop, and in the gay Scoutmasters it was single, gays couldn't get married. What kind of man without a girl in the Girl Scout troop would you trust to be a Girl Scout leader? It's inappropriate. Now we see this going on with school board members. They're electing activists. Now the books that he was sworn in on, I just can't believe this stuff. Here's the books. He was sworn in on 5 books that are most commonly banned. He was holding hands with his male partner. His male partner was holding the books. Now, I'm not anti-gay. I've got gay family members, okay? I'm not anti-gay. But I am anti-people being school board members that don't have kids in the school district. But here's, he wasn't holding hands with his male partner and his son or daughter. One of them wasn't holding a baby or a kid in school. I mean, come on. But here's the books. The books include All Boys Aren't Blue, Gender Queer, Flamer, Lawn Boy, and The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Now, I didn't know what that meant by wallflower, so I looked up what wallflower means when talking about gays. A wallflower is a very bashful homosexual who shies away from others around them. Okay. And boy seems to be a common word that's in the titles of these books. All Boys Aren't Blue. I don't know what that's about. Gender Queer. I mean, I can't even say queer. You get in trouble for saying that one. And Flamer, we know what that is. I mean, these are ridiculous. Flamer was written by what is described as a distinguished writer and author, Michael Corrado. It's a semi-autobiographical, hard word to say, graphic novel set in 1995. A graphic novel about a gay man. It was first published in 2020. The protagonist of the tale is teased at a Boy Scout summer camp for acting in a manner considered stereotypical of a gay man. Characters in the book talk about, I can't say all this. In fact, I can't say any of it. It's so graphic. This is a book that is so graphic, I can't say the words on the radio. There's an illustration inside the book of teenage boys in their underwear. Genderqueer has drawn a lot of criticism from parents for being kept in public schools. Genderqueer depicts oral sex in it. And that first one, I cannot read these things on the... I mean, I could, but I'd get in trouble. I'd have to hit the dump button and dump myself. Those are the books he was sworn in on. These books are pornography, and I'm not in for... The books aren't being banned, but there are some things that are not appropriate for children to have access to in a school library. All right? I mean, this isn't an adult bookstore. They're turning school libraries into adult bookstores. And for that matter, who even reads books anymore in school? Why do even have... Everything's done electronically now. But these are not things that should be in a children's library. And I think anybody would agree with that that's got half a brain or any sense of morality. It's not... anything that involves depictions of graphic sex, as all these books do, should not be there. My goodness, we would... dream of the days where they were trying to just get Heather Has Two Mommies. Remember that controversy? And Heather Has Two Mommies was a big controversy. You guys remember that controversy? And of course, it was a children's book about a girl with two moms because they were lesbians. And they wanted that in the public schools. And I remember hearing Christians talking at the time. Obviously, there are parents that are gay that have kids in the schools, but if we let this book in, the next thing they'll do is they'll have graphic sex gay books in there. And I thought at the time, there's no way, that's crazy. They'll never have graphic sex books. And here, this guy just got sworn into the school board with his hand on 5 smut books. I mean, these are just graphic sexual books. And think about it. If I can't say what the books depict on the radio, should they be in a school library where children can have them? I mean, I don't know if they still have like Playboy magazines and stuff at the stores. But when they did, they were never out with the regular magazines. They were behind the counter. You had to ask for them because they weren't. That's what this is. And if you're so out of touch with morality that you don't know that these books that are graphically written in very sexual ways, some with illustrations, don't belong in a public school library, you don't have enough sense to be on a school board or really be a public person. You're out of your mind. They want to take things we're not trying to ban these things. It's America, but children cannot legally have access to everything. I mean, think about it. These books here that describe detailed sexual acts between gay men. Notice not lesbian, gay men. Available to kids in the public schools. If I went out on the street and started reading books like this that were graphic depictions of heterosexual sex to children on the street, what would happen? You know what would happen to me? I'd get arrested. If I went to the park and started reading aloud from these books, I'd get in a heterosexual way. I'd get arrested. But this guy gets sworn into the school board seat on them. What is going on? All right, 17 minutes after the hour, you're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. Back after this.
Precision technology can solve your problematic symptoms. Our family-owned practice has had the honor of serving our South Florida community for over 71 years. Call us right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. Your family deserves the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
Brian Craig here, telling you about our 5th annual listener cruise, and you're all invited, except Limbaugh. Limbaugh, you're not invited, but the rest of you are. We leave April 27th on board the Celebrity Beyond, the flagship of celebrity cruises. We're going to the ABC Islands, Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba. We have shore excursions at every port, and I'll be on them all with you. We'll have dinner together every night, private cocktail parties, we'll go to Broadway shows together, and dance till the clubs close every night. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and book your reservation at 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
He's known worldwide as the voice of romance.
April said it's not a homosexual. In the context of that book, it is. It's about gay wallflowers. This story I'm gonna get into when we get back. Did any of you see the story? I'm gonna go through it when we get back of the Rosa Parks incident at the elementary school. This one is so twisted. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. You know, if you're still looking for some Christmas gift shopping ideas, how about give the recipient the gift of a pain-free life? If you have someone in your family that is suffering with pain, get them over to see Dr. Appleton. He's my chiropractor. He wants to be your chiropractic physician too, and get the laser therapy done for them. The laser wave pain therapy works. There are no injections, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. It works on so many different types of pain: spinal stenosis, fibromyalgia, plantar fasciitis, knee pain, neck pain, back pain, post-surgical swelling, strains and sprains, repetitive motion injuries, arthritis, bursitis, work injuries, sports injuries, herniated disc, rotary tears, and so many others. Give him a call. You know, appointments are not necessary, and walk-ins are welcome with Dr. Appleton, even on Saturdays. You can find him online at AppletonChiro.com, AppletonChiro.com, or give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain. Did you guys see this story about the Rosa Parks incident at the elementary school? You know, what's happened is we've turned our schools over to these liberal activists, all right? And it's happened for a couple of reasons. When people that are conservative are raising their kids, they discourage them from working for the government. Work in the private business, make real money. Don't work for the government. So what that's done is it's left the door open. The liberals have taken over the school system. I mean, we need a massive, and maybe when we get through this election, Charlie Kirk, after we get Trump back in, this would be a great thing for Charlie Kirk to get involved in. We need a mass recruitment drive for good, moral people, conservatives, to become school teachers. Because these liberal loons that are in our classrooms, they're reshaping this country. And there's such a movement to turn blacks against whites. Remember talking about that Barack Obama movie on Netflix, where the most racist thing I've seen ever like that. And what they're doing in public school, listen to this. Listen to this. This happened in a preschool here in Florida. A 2-year-old black girl has been subjected to a horrific Rosa Parks reenactment involving a lighter-skinned child handcuffing her in front of her peers in a Florida preschool classroom. The NAACP shared shocking photographs of the incident online and called on the Florida Department of Children and Families to investigate this preschool in St. Cloud, Osceola County. That's up near where Disney World is. The NAACP says the black pupil was subject to an alarming act of simulation where she was handcuffed and fingerprinted by a white student. That happened this month. The national director of the NAACP shared the photographs on Facebook, and these are pretty horrific. The faces are blurred. The toddler's outraged parents certainly probably got Benjamin Crump ready to file the lawsuit. The toddler's outraged parents described the lessons as horrific. They've pulled their child from the school. The female teacher involved has not been named and continues to work at the school. This is insane. I mean, I'm watching the little girl looks scared. The school said the reenactment was a spontaneous incident rather than a planned part of their curriculum. The teacher involved felt horrible and has apologized to the parents. There were no physical restraints in the classroom. The toddler's parents, who did not want to be identified, said they first became aware of the incident after seeing the photographs of their daughter through the school app. Her hands were restrained behind her back as if she was taken into custody. The next image was the child's hands being placed on the table as if she was being booked and fingerprinted. The parents described the look on their daughter's face as horrific. They added, there's so many ways to teach the Rosa Parks story. Yeah, no doubt about that. NAACP is involved. Now, how do you think this happened? What do you think the purpose of that was? It wasn't an accident that it was a white student. Everything the left do, we talk about this a lot on this program, no matter what the issue is, what Democrats do, they've always done this and they're doing it now, is divide people among different things. Christian against gay, gay against Christian, right? Right? Black against white, white against black, gay against straight. This is what they do. And they're on a major mission now to cause racial rage towards whites from blacks. That's why this was allowed. Very young age here, a little brainwashing going on. This teacher shouldn't just be fired. There needs to be a major investigation done, a real investigation, as to how this came to be. And I bet you that this is a common practice that goes on. I've never seen something like that. I've seen weird things. When I went to college, I double majored in history, as I talk about a lot, but also education, because I thought I was going to maybe teach school one day. I don't think they'd let me. How long would I last with my digital footprint? Oh, my goodness. If I could imagine me in a classroom, how long would it be till they were after me? But when I took courses on how to teach social studies education, all the social studies, in public school, and some of the things they would teach us, everything was liberal, and it was liberal activism. It wasn't race at the time. It was other things. It was, but this is not an accident. And a lot of what's going on is not approved lesson plans, teachers going rogue because they don't want to put things in writing, especially in Florida, where and Osceola, up there in that area, is a very liberal part of the state. Osceola in Orange County is where this is at. That's where Walt Disney World is. It's a very liberal part of the state, one of the most liberal. In fact, Orlando was a sanctuary city, okay, before DeSantis was governor, and we still had sanctuary cities. So don't let them off the hook by saying, well, this isn't a part of the lesson plan. It doesn't mean that it's not approved. This dingbat teacher didn't just come up with this on her own. She got this lesson plan from somewhere, from someone. And the NAACP, they got a lot of time on their hands because everything's been accomplished. We've had a black president twice elected. They should have closed up shop after that. What else did they have to do? But they're looking for something. They got very little to do, so they're all over this. So I'm hoping there'll be some accidental things come out. NAACP are Democrats, so But I'm hoping we hear from other parents, other students, and from others around the country that have had this happen. And I bet you this incident, this white student handcuffing and arresting a black student reenacting Rosa Parks, is a regular occurrence at multiple grade levels throughout this country. This is not, I'm telling you, there's no way this is an isolated incident. I watched the photographs of it. It's too complex with the fingerprinting and everything. Okay? There's too many steps to the lesson for this idiot just to have done it on her own. She had a non-approved lesson plan, but just because something's not approved officially doesn't mean it's not approved. You know what I mean? All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Back after this. Unbelievable. Oh my goodness. This this next story I have, this is wow. We're screwed. This country is in big trouble. Wait till you hear this. This is really frightening. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'll get to this in a minute. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. The Thursday before Christmas. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. Okay. Listen to this. I just put together something here during the break. This is really bad news for this country. Okay, I want you to now listen to this. Okay, now if they keep telling us that the Great Replacement theory is a lie, okay, if you're on hold, stand by. This is I got to get through this. This is insane. They keep telling us that the Great Replacement theory is a lie, and anybody who talks about it is, these terrible things. I just did, during that break, I have a story here that I tweeted this morning, and then I just did a couple of little research during the break, and I'm going to share this with you, and explain to me if the Great Replacement theory is not true, put all this stuff together. Now, I'm sure you've seen the last few days, the number, callers on hold, stand by. I'm going to go through this before I take some calls. So we probably won't get into any calls for a few minutes. This is insane. This is insane. Now, you've seen the illegals at the southern border in record numbers the last few days. During Biden's presidency, illegal aliens are entering the rate at about 4.6 million per year. And the number obviously is much higher because a lot of them are pregnant and they're not counting the child inside the womb. But we'll just go with that number. Illegal aliens are entering the United States during Joe Biden's presidency currently at a rate of 4.6 million a year. Do you know how many babies were born last year? 3.66 million. 3.66 million. So the illegals are coming here in larger numbers than we have babies being born. Do you know how many people died last year in America? 3.4 million. 3.4 million. So we have a few more babies born than those that died, but we have almost 5 million a year of illegals coming in. So then I went back to 1980 to find out how many babies were born in 1980. 3.6 million babies were born in 1980. The same number of babies that were born last year. Well, the population of the United States in 1980 was much smaller than it is today. 226.5 million was the population in 1980, and right now the population is at about 335 million. By the way, all the phones just went out, Mike. We lost all our phone connections. Yeah, they all went dead. If you're on hold, hang in there. The phone connectivity is no more. Just went out. So the same number of babies are born in a year where we're just under 335 million. And we had the same number of babies born in 1980, when the population was over 100 million less. And there are illegals coming here in the numbers of almost 5 million a year. Phones are back. Okay. Tell me the Great Replacement Theory is not true. They're back. Tell me the Great Replacement Theory is not true. What's their plan? They want to turn America into Latin America, into South America. And let me tell you, I went to South America, and I'm not talking about on our cruises. When we go on our cruises, we're on the coast and we're in the tourist areas. I've been deep in South America. I'll never go back. Third world doesn't even begin to describe it. I mean, it's worse than Belgrade. Nothing against Belgrade. I think it's an embarrassment that Governor DeSantis allows Belgrade to be in that condition. But there's more illegals coming here than babies being born, and our birth rate is so low. One of the reasons our birth rate is so low is because the people of childbearing years, they're not having heterosexual sex. They don't even know what gender they are. So many of them are gay. So many of them are the gender thing. Of course, it's true. Look at these numbers. And that was just a little... I had the story on the 4.6 million illegals coming in every year, but I just did the other things on some quick census searches during the bottom of the hour break and came up with all of that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Frank from Sunrise.
Hey, Sunrise.
What's going on, man? Hey, just wanted to congratulate you on the show. I just bumped into it about a year ago. I moved in from Los Angeles. I had to get away from all that. Brought my family down here to Sunrise. I just wanted your opinion on something. So you're basically against letting quote unquote illegals cross the border and come over here from Mexico, Central America.
Yes, I'm against criminals illegally entering the United States. Yes. Illegals, yes. Aren't you?
Definitely. But see, there's a catch to this. What if there's not a criminal
who's trying to escape extortion and escape murder to come over here and give to this country, work hard.
They're not. These are these people aren't giving. They're taking. They come over here. They get welfare, Section 8 housing, and everything else. They're not bringing these are a peasant class from Latin America. They're bringing nothing. They're coming over here to retire. Hold on. Let me slow you down for a second. If I live in a nice neighborhood. I live in Boca. Okay, I live in Boca. I didn't always live in Boca. You know, I lived in a nice area growing up as a kid, but I moved out on my own and lived in some bad neighborhoods. If I'm in an area that has high crime in it, is it Canada's responsibility to take me in? If I'm in an area with my family, so why is it our responsibility that all these illegals should come here? Why are they our responsibility? Just move to another part of your country that's safe.
So let me ask you this. I have a cousin who's being extorted in Guatemala, right? And he's trying to get a pardon legally, not illegally. He's trying to get a pardon to come over here.
A pardon? What's he's got a record?
No, not a pardon. It's like
a visa.
With a church. Through a church, and he's trying to escape what's going on in his country because I don't know if you heard what happened in El Salvador. They locked up.
I don't care what happened in El Salvador. Listen. In America, we're being extorted. You know, like right now, it's Christmas. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. No, El Salvador. What country? Ecuador? Whatever. It's not my problem.
So, for them to come here and build a life better than what?
Well, there's a legal process. There's a legal process, and if he can legally immigrate here, that's different. But that's not what's happening.
No, that was my question. Like, what is your views on someone?
Well, no, see, we're not, Donald Trump is not against legal immigration. President Trump has been married 3 times. 2 of his wives are legal immigrants. First and his current wife, legal immigrant. We're not against legal immigration. We're against illegal immigration.
Yeah, people who, I get that.
There's a big difference.
I totally agree with that.
So we're on the same page.
That's where I was kind of lost. I was kind of confused on.
No, don't be confused. Well, listen, I got to run for a break, but welcome to the show. I'm glad you found us, and I hope to talk to you again. You added something to the conversation, all right? All right, take care. We'll take our break and be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on the Steve Kane.
All right, and if you're on hold, stand by. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Metals looking very strong this morning on a very weak U.S. dollar. Dollar index now under 102, which we haven't seen in quite a while, and that weakness of the dollar is going to continue to fuel gold's move to higher levels. Yesterday we saw a little bit of a pullback on gold after nice gains previously. $6.90 down yesterday, closing at $2,031.40. Silver was up 10 cents yesterday at $24.14 the ounce. Silver is trying very hard to establish itself a floor of around $24, which is going to be very strong going forward. So platinum up $5 yesterday, closing at $9.60, and palladium was down $26 at $1,190. This morning we got gold up $12.60 right now at $2,044. As I said, mostly on the weak U.S. dollar. Silver up 21 cents at $24.35 the ounce. Platinum up $5 at $965. And palladium up $20 at $1,210. So the market's doing very well.
Absolutely. What are some of the things that people come in to buy as Christmas gifts? For their spouse, their kids, their grandkids. What are some of the most common things people buy at your shop for Christmas that you have available?
A lot of people love the current year silver eagles for gifts for kids, stocking stuffers, etc., things like that. We have a lot of interesting historical items that you can purchase. We've got a special on some Israeli mint sets that one of the first mint sets the Israeli government put out back in the 60s. They actually are all of the many of the different coins that they issued with a map of Israel on the back. Very interesting scenario, and these we are offering as a special to our Steve Kane listeners for just $2 a set.
Whoa! What are those again? Those sound really interesting. What are those?
Israeli mint sets from 1965. They are very interesting. They show a map of Israel, and very interesting coinage, all their coinage at the time, and
that sounds cool.
Special for just $2 a set.
What else you got?
We have lots of course, jewelry, and we've got the small size gold coins. We've got some 1 gram bar gold and 5 gram bar gold for smaller gold purchases. We have the coins, silver coins from all over the different countries. A lot of people like to get, see how many different 1 ounce silver coins they can get from the different countries. And these are beautiful. We have quite a nice selection of those. And
I'll tell you, Steve got one of his sons. He got one of his sons involved with gold when he was a little boy, and this is not an exaggeration. His son is now the wealthiest person in Steve's family because he instilled something in him, and I'm sure you see that a lot, William Youngerman, with families. When also a great gift is fractional gold. You can get gold coins in 10th ounce, quarter ounce, and half ounce gold coins. When it comes to fractional gold coins, is the best bet the American Gold Eagles, or are there other ones you would recommend?
You can get the Gold Eagles. You can get the Canadian 1/10 ounce pure gold maple leaves. They're beautiful, and we have those in stock. We have, of course, all the different size coins, 1/10 Krugerrands, etc. So there's lots of selection in the smaller size gold coins you can purchase.
Are you open regular hours today and tomorrow? Yes, we are. Okay. Now, the jewelry and watches and things, because you're a wholesaler of such things, people have to ask for those. They're not on display. But can you tell people a little bit about jewelry and watches? Because, you have things priced really well. People I think, are shocked when they come in and see how much they can get so far as a quality of jewelry or a watch at such great prices.
That's correct. We have beautiful ring selection, bracelets, necklaces, quite an assortment, and as you said, it's you have to ask us to show it to you. Just let us know you're a Steve Kane listener, and you get our wholesale prices. It's literally just by the weight of the gold that we sell it.
And that's amazing. It'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. And listen, he's open regular hours today and tomorrow, but if you can, make it in today, because I know right before closing time, a lot of husbands tend to show up at those last couple of minutes, and you want to get there first. Okay, William Youngerman is open today and tomorrow, regular hours, which means he opens at 10 a.m. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway. Oh, by the way, what about paper money? Do you have any paper money that's good gifts, William Youngerman?
Paper money from every period of time in the U.S. history, going back to colonial paper money, Confederate paper money, U.S. banknotes, national banknotes with interesting banks. You can pick if we happen to have it, you could actually pick your hometown and get a banknote from somebody where they were born. It's quite a selection.
Yeah, and there's a lot more. I'm just my grandparents used to give me, they're no longer with us, but they used to give me paper money and things. I still have it. It's cherished, and it's special, So the address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, as I said. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, where you can find the number or address if you miss it while I'm talking. Or you can call 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, we'll finish out the week tomorrow, William Youngerman.
Have a great day.
All right, back after this.
Now the Steve Kane Show is...
All right. Welcome back. Our new listener and caller, when someone's new and they call in and they disagree, I don't give them what I refer to as the treatment. I'm a little, I don't hold it. Yeah, it's their first time, I don't want to, you know what I mean? But that was a good call. I'm glad he called in. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. My name's Jim from Michigan.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, can I talk something on gay issue?
On a gay issue, okay.
Can I?
Well, it depends. I mean, I mentioned some gay stuff, so it fits in, but it depends. Let me see what it is. It depends. If you're reading from one of those books in the public schools, no, that would be inappropriate.
No, this is what I heard on the news a couple of days ago. I'm a Catholic, and the Pope, and now is taught that a man and a woman, the church is always recognized and gives their blessings to that. So now, our Pope, 2 days ago, he came on the news and said that he's going to start giving his blessings, all of our churches, to the gay people.
Yes. Yeah, I know, I'm Catholic too. You know, I'm a little, hold on, slow down a second. You know, I've only been Catholic for about 10 or 15 years. My wife and I, we converted with my daughter, and it's almost a year-long process. You have to take a class. It's called RCIA, which is, I forgot what the R stands for, but it's Catholic Initiation for Adults. I forgot what the R stands for. And what that means is you take a class. It takes almost a year to take it. You learn everything the Catholic Church believes, and then at the end you decide if you want to be Catholic or not. And you cannot take Holy Communion. Holy Communion means many things, but one of the things is you're in communion with the church, okay? And you can't take communion if you're not in communion with the church. For example, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, John Kerry, and others disrespect our church every time they take Holy Communion because of their abortion positions that they advocate and allow to happen. They're not marrying gays, they're blessing gays, and I'm unclear. Only thing I've seen are news stories that are vague and biased. I don't know if he's blessing them, if they're going to bless the marriages, the relationships, or just the people. Okay, and that's a big difference. So I'm unclear on what the Pope is saying, even though he's very liberal.
Okay, he's going to start out as just the minor things, and then it's going to go all the way in the future.
Well, until we get a new Pope.
He's testing the water right now.
Well, it's the slippery slope, and the thing is, I mean, if I had my choice for Pope after this Pope, it would be Cardinal Dolan out of New York. Because that guy doesn't mess around, and he's not politically correct, and he's right on everything. But we got a liberal Pope. I don't pay much attention to him.
Okay.
But I don't, and I'll tell you, I don't talk about this stuff too much because I don't feel right being too critical of the Pope. I just don't like attacking the church. I just don't feel comfortable doing it, and maybe that's wrong. But this particular thing, if he's blessing people, I mean, all people should be blessed. But I don't know, is he blessing the lifestyle, the unions? I'm unclear. All right, I know it's
give you my opinion.
Hey, next thing you know, we're going to have openly gay priests.
Yeah. Well, we never used to have women, but now we do.
There aren't women priests in the Roman Catholic Church.
There isn't?
No.
Well, they're assisting. Go to it. They had a
really
lady.
What do you mean assisting? You mean what do you mean, like a deacon? There's lady deacons?
Preaching.
At a Roman Catholic church, there's a woman now giving the homily. Are you sure you're Catholic?
Yes, I am.
They have women giving the homily?
Yes.
I've never seen that. You're in a liberal church, man. You're in a liberal church. You're in a liberal church. Get out of there. Get out of there. You're in a liberal church. Run. All right? Do not go to a liberal church. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I have an issue with you, man.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah.
All right. You constantly not telling the truth. You kind of have a lying thing you got going on.
A what? What am I lying about?
When you said that Trump, a lot of those people that's locked up in prison, you ask every one of them, they say Trump told me to do it.
No, enough of the Antichrist thing. No. He's getting a little chronic. I'm almost out of time. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian?
Yes.
Good morning. It's AAA.
Hey, AAA.
Quick, I know you're out of time. Just two things real quick. One, I wanted to apologize for getting you mad on Monday and having you hang up on me. Steve, and all your listeners and regular callers, regular cap.
What did I don't remember the call. What, I got angry at you and hung up on you?
Yeah, I asked you something. I asked you what XL stood for in Keystone XL, and you didn't know, which is fine.
No, this is the AAA guy. Okay. Callers, chronic callers do not come up with their own nicknames and handles. That's for us to do. Knowing what XL and the XL pipeline is meaningless. It has nothing to do with the issue. And I hung up on you because we were up against a break. But on top of that, you got a lot of problems. You've got a lot of insecurities, which we'll talk about on another day because I'm almost out of time. Oh yes, he does. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jersey Mike from West Palm Beach.
Hey Jersey, we got a few seconds. We're almost out of time, so.
Real quick, a lot of people don't realize the Chinese are invading our country.
Yes.
Take a look about what they own and what they make. All your clothing. You look at the balloons that came across, the spy balloons. Look at I don't know if this is correct, but Alex Jones has said that they own all our meatpacking plants, facilities.
Wouldn't surprise me.
So that's the real threat. It's not Putin and Russia. They may be allies, but China's the real big problem coming down the road.
Absolutely. All right, appreciate the call. Now listen, so we're out of time for today. Tomorrow is open phones. Okay, remember open phones? It's tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday already. Open Mag and Mike Friday is tomorrow. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show tomorrow. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Wow, it's almost 47 years. That's right, celebrating 46 years on the radio, and then in a week and a half, it'll be 47 years on the radio, The Steve Kane Show. God bless America. See you tomorrow morning.
FS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIR.
All right, guys, I got to run, but thanks for watching. Make sure you like the video before you go, all right?